Sleep is an integral part of our lives. Without good sleep, we often find ourselves having difficulty concentrating, fatigued, more sensitive to pain, often dependent on stimulants, and just plain dragging ass. Welcome to The Controversial Truth, where we bring you content on health and medical science that nobody would ever tell you until now. I'm your host, Dr. Victoria Munoz, and today we have a very special episode for you. Stay tuned. Hey guys, I'm Dr. Victoria Munoz. I'm a naturopathic medical doctor who specializes in regenerative medicine, metabolic health, and athletic performance. I work with athletes and non-athletes alike, and my patients are getting results. Sleep is associated with changes in the expression of many molecules, some of which are directly involved in sleep regulation. It is speculated that one or more of these molecules or the downstream effects induced by these molecules could serve as an index to sleepiness and time awake, predict how long someone may sleep if allowed, correlate with an individual's performance status, or be used in the diagnosis of primary sleep disorders. Sleep plays a major role in neuroendocrine function and glucose metabolism. Chronic sleep loss or disruption may increase the risk of obesity and weight gain. Sleep restriction results in metabolic and endocrine alterations, including decreased glucose tolerance, decreased insulin sensitivity, increased evening levels of cortisol, increased levels of ghrelin, decreased levels of leptin, which will ultimately increase hunger and appetite. These important modulatory effects of sleep on hormonal levels and glucose regulation suggest that sleep loss may have adverse effects on endocrine function and metabolism. When you lie down to sleep at night, your body cycles through 4 sleep stages that help to support your mental and physical health. One way that it does so is by controlling the release of hormones, the chemical messengers that your body uses for every conceivable purpose, from growth and repair to mood and energy levels. One of the hormones most closely tied to sleep is human growth hormone, also known as HGH, and without adequate sleep, your HGH production can suffer. Through the release of HGH while you sleep, your body promotes growth and regeneration, a process that is particularly important for growing kids and athletes. Lack of sleep will cause an increase in inflammatory cytokines such as TNF alpha and interleukin 1 beta. When introducing exogenous IL-1 and TNF to test subjects, scientists have been able to mimic the symptoms of sleep deprivation. You can find the research studies that I used for my talk today in the show notes below. There are genes that are encoded for sleep. The sleepy gene regulates the amount of sleep. Yes, it's called sleepy. And sleepy encodes a permanently active version of salt-induced kinase 3, or SIK3, a widely expressed serine threonine protein kinase in the brain, but also found in peripheral tissue. The pathways regulating SIK proteins outside of the brain have been intensively studied because of their importance in controlling lipid metabolism, gluconeogenesis, tumor progression, and more. Biochemical processes for sleep can be explained by the term circadian and homeostatic. This essentially tells the body when to sleep and for how long. Circadian drive is controlled by the suprachiasmatic nucleus in the hypothalamus of the brain. The biochemical nature of sleep homeostasis is a mystery and involves multiple cell types. It is thought that changes in the delta power of the brain drives homeostasis. NREM, or non-REM sleep, increases as noted on EEG after sleep deprivation, reflecting deeper sleep. If you remember, REM sleep is rapid eye movements. We have several rapid eye movement episodes throughout our sleep cycle, And if we're not getting the adequate REM that we require, our sleep will be severely affected. Okay, so now we understand some of the indications of sleep and how it affects our physiology and biochemistry. Now let's talk about how to ensure good sleep. Well, let's start with alcohol consumption. Alcohol is a circadian rhythm disruptor. Circadian rhythms regulate nearly all the body's processes, from metabolism and immunity to energy, sleep, sex drive, cognitive function, and mood. Alcohol disrupts circadian function by directly interfering with the ability of the master biological clock to synchronize itself. I recommend avoiding alcohol at least 3 hours before bed to prevent frequent awakenings and low quality sleep. Long-term alcohol use can lead to chronic sleep problems and disorders like sleep apnea. While alcohol can increase slow wave or deep sleep, it also delays the REM cycle, reducing the total amount of REM sleep in a night. Let's talk about magnesium. Magnesium helps to convert tryptophan to melatonin. Remember, melatonin helps you fall asleep. So our circadian rhythm is regulated essentially by two major hormones, cortisol and melatonin. So in the morning, your cortisol should be on the high side, melatonin should be on the low side. And then as you go through the day, these levels should move in opposition. And by the time it's time to sleep, your melatonin should be higher and your cortisol should be on the low side. So that's just kind of a generalization of how it works. Magnesium glycinate is the best form for inducing relaxation and sleep, as it works directly on the muscle fibers. Magnesium acts as a natural beta blocker to help muscles relax. In your muscles, calcium binds to proteins such as troponin C and myosin. This process changes the shape of these proteins, which generates a contraction. Well, when you consume magnesium, it competes with the calcium for these same binding sites, causing muscles to relax. You want to take anywhere from 300 to 400 milligrams about 30 minutes before bed. I don't recommend over-the-counter supplements simply because you don't know what you're going to get. If you're interested, I can set you up with a free account on Fullscript for physician-grade supplements. If you'd like to learn more, just leave a comment below and I will help you set up your free account. Avoiding screen time in the evenings and before bed can be very beneficial to adequate sleep. Screen time before bed can be bad for several reasons. Blue light emitted by screens can disrupt melatonin production, making it harder to fall asleep. Reduced REM sleep can result from using screens before bedtime. Consider turning off electric devices at least an hour before bed and engaging relaxing activities instead. Exposure to artificial light from screens can hinder sleep and affect alertness and mood the very next day. Reading calm literature can be another way to relax before bed. This can put you in a relaxed state of mind. Practicing deep breathing and meditation can move the brain into the theta state. Theta is the state right before you fall asleep. Listen to soothing instrumental music. You can listen to piano, violin, or cello, for example. I recommend avoiding music with words because this can put your brain in more of an alert state, more of a problem-solving state, more of a thinking state, which we want to avoid. Listen to delta frequency binaural beats. This synchronizes the left and right hemispheres of the brain and sets the stage for sleep. And you could also resort to measures such as drinking chamomile tea, which induces relaxation. And finally, avoid work emails, texts, and phone calls after hours. Being a business owner, this is something I've had to learn and have learned very well. What I've learned is that if you allow people to, they will demand your time unnecessarily all hours of the day. This will cause the brain to become too alert and puts it in a problem-solving state of mind. This will put the brain in the beta state, making it difficult to move into alpha, theta, and then delta. And the last thing you want is to start thinking about all the things you need to deal with the next day or become stressed over problems that arise. There's nothing that can be done about these things at bedtime, so it's best just to not go there in the first place. Hey guys, I hope this was helpful. To sum it up, sleep is a very important part of our biochemistry and physiology, which works to serve every process of the human body through the entire sleep-wake cycle. I'm Dr. Victoria Munoz. Until next time,